Hello everybody, what's love? How's it going? We just finished 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. I know we're a few minutes late. It just kept dragging on. We had to make sure we finish it all. And of course, I am here with LA. What's love, LA?
You know, just glad I can breathe again.
Yeah, it's been a tough few days, huh?
Yeah, there were fires that came in from Canada. I'm sure everyone heard about the smoke that came and polluted us down in the Northeast. And finally it started to clear up. So the air's smelling a little better. I can breathe again. So that's positive. But I do feel for the people who are still dealing with that.
Yeah, because we're how many miles away? We're really far away, so you can imagine what it's like for them dealing with that. But yeah, I feel love breathing the air. And for me, it was an emotional week of finales, because I had the Ted Lasso finale, which I cried, the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I cried, the Succession, I did not cry, but 3 shows I really do love. And
all ended.
And they ended, and I'm sad to see that they ended. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about before the 90 days and more. We're going to start with that. We also made predictions for the other way, probably about, 4 or 5 episodes into the season. So we're going to go back to those predictions to see how we did, because we know how it all finished up. We never really talked about the end of the other way. Yeah. And we're also going to go over some comments that we've received from you. So we're going to do that every week. So please make comments on our videos, and we might choose your comment to speak on. And lastly, we're going to go over the Ultimatum Queer Love. We did watch the Ultimatum. We did not do a recap or a reaction to it, but we thought we should talk a little bit about it here. It's kind of a reality roundup for us.
Yeah. Let's round it up.
Let's round it up. But, of course, we're going to start with before the 90 days, right? What did you think of this episode?
Let's do it. This was like a travel episode. There was a lot of flights and anticipation. So, where do you want to start?
Where should we start? I guess we should start maybe with, Riley?
Yeah, let's start with Riley.
Oh, I got Amanda up. So we're going to start with Amanda.
Okay, Amanda it is.
Hey, Amanda. So Amanda is with, what's his name?
Razvan.
And he's from Romania.
Yeah.
And we did touch on them. She had a heartbreaking tale last week where we don't think she's emotionally ready to be with somebody yet.
No, she lost her husband to cancer recently, and she met Razvan online. He's like a social media influencer, model, very, what's the word to describe him?
Self-absorbed?
Probably. We don't know that for sure.
We don't know.
But like, what's...
I made the same comments about Rishi when they said he was a model and he was making the Zoolander faces. But yeah, he turned out to, I think, generally be a decent guy. It didn't work out, but he's a decent guy, right?
Yeah. He's a model, and he's like very chiseled and like handsome, and he does a lot of work online and social media, and she's gonna be meeting him for the very first time. So in this episode they met. It was a little awkward. She just seemed like she was holding back.
I think it's everything we talked about. I think she just lost her husband. She hasn't been with another person physically, and I don't think there's been enough time for her to really kind of adapt to it. There's one thing about talking to somebody through social media, it seems like a big fantasy, but then when that person is right in front of you, everything changes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So she had just gotten there, so we didn't see too much, but he did meet with a friend before that.
Yeah, prior to the meeting, he met with one of his friends, this, like, all dolled up lady who he acted with. It seems like maybe he likes her, I don't know, there was something there, but they didn't get into that, but... She
clearly liked him. She put her hand on his chest.
She did.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but she spoke about his past marriage. We found out he was divorced, and he was only married for 6 months before that relationship ended, and it seems like he kind of has a pattern of jumping into things pretty quickly.
He got married after 1 month.
Yeah, and only stayed married for 6 months.
Right.
Him and Amanda are only 4 months in, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to predict it ain't working out.
These are not official predictions. We'll wait a couple. We haven't even met half the cast, it seems like. So
I'm jumping ahead.
You're jumping ahead. In a couple of weeks, we'll make official predictions. But I think if I had to predict now, I'd probably say that I don't think she's ready, and I don't think they're going to make it. He could turn out to be a good guy, but
right.
We'll see. So next up, we got
Riley. Yeah, it was hit by a typhoon. No, it was a fire, then a typhoon.
I don't think it matters what order you put it in.
Right, it's just messed up. Like
it did the job.
Yeah, the house is dilapidated. She lives with her two elderly parents and her son, and yeah, like there's barely a roof. There's no like running water. Damn girl.
Now, next time that we run out of spring water here, I don't want you to give me a hard time because, like, she has to go out to the well and
pump her water.
So tap is fine for a day.
I feel like David is gonna be in for a shock when he comes and realizes like, wow, like this is how they live. And it also makes us, appreciate what we have because, they're roughing it.
Right, so I do think he will have a little bit of culture shock, but if I have to say, and I'm looking over the names of all the couples here, of all the couples, I think these two might be the most genuine.
Yeah, I like them.
Where they're both genuine to each other.
Yeah.
So
they both seem like, I mean, it's early, but they both seem like genuinely nice people. Which you don't get often on this show. No.
You get a few, but I feel like more in earlier seasons. Lately, they've been going for the more...
crazy people.
Yeah, the shock effect, I guess.
Psychos.
Shock effect. But
Speaking of psychos.
Let's
jump to
you trying me to bring him in?
Gino!
What do you mean, Lauren?
You could talk about them, because they just irk me.
Well, Gino is also traveling. This is the traveling episode, so he is on his way. But before he went on his way, he met with his family, which we've met, I think, the last time they were on the show. And they all have reservations about their relationship. Shocker.
Why would they have reservations?
And they feel pretty certain that Gino should get a prenup.
Why wouldn't he get a prenup?
And I don't think there's any chance that he ever gets a prenup.
No, because Jasmine runs that relationship.
Right.
And yeah, he's just gonna curl up into a little ball and just cry and do whatever she says.
Right. Meanwhile, Jasmine, we saw, met with her friends, and she's just very excited about Gino's arrival. And she's getting ready physically as well.
Y'all can watch the recap. I'm not going to say what she's doing physically because...
she's doing a lot of work to save this relationship when all she really should be doing is maybe trying to communicate and understand.
I don't know. She's not doing it to save the relationship.
Oh, that's what she claims.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it is. Jasmine likes to get airtime. That's what that is.
She was probably sponsored by that company, and she probably sells them on her OnlyFans. She has an OnlyFans, if you didn't know.
Sells what?
The butt plugs, I guess. Is that what they were called? You just wanted me to say butt plugs.
I did. Thank you.
Now we're going to get banned on YouTube because you made me say... No, I'm not saying it again. I think you can say it twice, 3 times. You're out. Anyway, they did finally reunite in Panama. They seem really, she seemed excited to meet him.
Yeah.
She marked him with her lipstick.
Yeah.
And it was probably 2 minutes that I can't get back. My eyes cannot unsee because...
Yeah, they're just crazy. They're just, both of them are pretty nutty. Like, that's all I can say about those two.
Yeah, that's just the way 90 Day likes it. And last...
Dun, dun, dun.
Not least, we got Tyray and Carmella, or should I say Christian?
Tyray is a very nice guy and very naive. He met with his siblings this episode to tell them what's going on. And they were shocked to find out that he's been in an international relationship for 4 years. None of them had any idea.
Oh, goodness.
If you didn't watch last episode, the producers came to him and pretty much said that, Carmella, this woman who you're in love with, who you never met, is not a real person. You're being catfished. This is actually a man that you've been talking to, and his name is Christian. So, of course, Tyray he's upset. He's drowning his sorrows in beer, and then he goes to meet with his brother and sister to try to get some advice about what to do and to also listen to a recording that the producers had because they recorded their conversation with Christian.
Now, Tyray, you didn't need to go to your brother and sister for advice. Like, I think the advice is pretty obvious what anybody would give you. I mean, it's
like it's over. There's nothing else to do.
She does not exist.
She's not a real person. Like, he wants to see it through. What are you going to see through?
But it was made worse when we had the revelation that 1 year earlier, Tyray flew to Barbados, which I recommend you all do. It's beautiful over there. Where her family's from. It's amazing. Beautiful over there. But Carmella never showed up, and he was very sad. But that didn't end it for him.
No, he still continued to talk to her after she had him fly all the way out to Barbados just to ghost him, which makes absolutely no sense.
Now, I just thought of this, though. You would think any reasonable person would be like, okay, for 3 years there's been no video chat. Oh, I went over to Barbados and made some excuse not to see me. Okay, that should probably... But 90 Day might be the reason that he keeps holding on. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, and I might have the name wrong, but anybody listening, like if I have the name wrong, please chime in. I think his name was David, and he was talking to a girl from, was it Ukraine?
Sounds about right.
Ukraine, maybe? And he had gone over there 2 or 3 times, and she just didn't...
She never showed up.
Never showed up. So we're like, David, I mean, obviously, she's not real. And then he goes over there the 4th time, and to our shock, and I wish we were doing reactions back then.
She showed up.
She showed up.
It wasn't good, but she showed up.
But she was a real person, and it was, I think, who he was talking to.
I don't know. Maybe. Either way, like, I feel like, yes, the pictures are a person, but not the actual person he's talking to. And he says it in this episode. He's like, I've watched Catfish. I don't know how this happened to me. I just wanted to be real so bad. And I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've heard some comments otherwise, but so far he still seems like a really nice guy to me. So I do feel for him a little bit, but...
Yeah, we'll see. It's early. We'll see.
Time to wake up.
Yeah.
And that's the entire cast of Before the 90 Days. We actually, I think there's 2 or 3 more couples that we haven't even met yet. And I had prepared to talk about them, hoping we would know something, but they're not here yet.
Yeah,
so,
we haven't met our new couples yet.
No. So we're going to move on to The Other Way.
The Other Way. What were we talking about? Oh, all right, what we predicted.
Oh, and I'm reading somebody saying I was Lana, and yes, that is who it was.
David and Lana.
David and Lana. Thank you. Yeah. So, thank you, 90 Day. You're making Tyray think that you have a chance here.
Yeah.
So The Other Way. Yes, we know the season's over, and we're ready to move on. We've already moved on to Before the 90 Days, but I think it was 4 or 5 episodes into the season, we made predictions of what would happen to each couple, and we have not gone back to those predictions yet. So I am ready to check it out and see how we did. Who do you think won?
Me.
You sure?
I'm not sure, but...
Okay. So first, let's see what we said about Nicole...
And Mahmoud.
I already forgot his name. I've already moved on. Here we go.
I don't think they're staying together long term. They might ride the season out, but this isn't lasting forever. They're getting divorced.
The only chance they stay together is if he came to America and removed himself from all that family pressure. But he would still have to do a little change. She's going to wear short sleeves since she's in America.
Right.
So I think not even this season. I think they're splitting up again.
Okay, so I feel like I won that one. That was a mix.
All right, so we need help judging this one, honestly, because you said...
I said that they would probably stay married, but eventually get divorced.
Right, which, is still up in the air. You could be right about that, but they did. They stayed married. You're right.
They did.
I said the only chance for them to stay together is if he was willing to come to America. So I think that's pretty detailed.
All right, you get half a point for that.
Now, I said that...
0.5.
I also said that she was going to wear short sleeve. Remember that sleeveless dress she wore?
That was like no... It was like...
Yeah, that's right. So...
No sleeve, shoulder.
And if he wasn't willing to come to America, he was... they were going to get divorced. So...
All right, okay, I'll give you half a point for that.
You scored at home. You tell me if I got a point or not, but you definitely got a point. You were succinct and you were right. So next up, who we got next? Gabriel and Isabel. Let's see what we said about them.
I think they're going to stay together. They're going to get married. And they're going to live happily ever after. Booyah.
Yeah, I agree. And eventually they will get married. And I think they'll get married this season.
All right. Both right.
We nailed that. I think that was probably the easiest prediction to make. They had no
real drama or issues at all.
No drama whatsoever. All right, who do we got next? What does that name say?
I think that they will get married because I feel like they're...
Oh, Jamie and Chris.
And they're all caught up in the infatuation, but I do think that this relationship eventually will fall apart.
So I do agree. I think eventually it will fall apart. I think it's just too much for one person to take. When you have that many problems and ailments, it's one thing if you've been together 20, 30 years, you put in the time, and now you have to take care of that person. That makes sense.
We're both right.
I think we were both right on that. Yeah, that was just a train wreck from start to finish, right?
Mm-hmm. Are you keeping score?
Yeah.
None of it. They're breaking up this season. They're not staying together. Most time, like, you playing games with my girl Debbie, and we're good. No, thank you.
I'm going to predict that they're still together at the end of the season. Go ahead, gloat. I mean, I was definitely wrong on that one.
You were super wrong.
So I watched the extended version of that, and my explanation was she wasn't going to want to come back home to Julian and and his sister, and let them know that she failed, so she was going to stay there. And it was just the opposite. She ran to Julian for help. So.
Yeah, that didn't work out at all.
All right, who's next up?
And I think they're going to stay together through the season, but I feel like eventually this relationship will end in divorce.
So I agree. I think they're going to stay together because the season's not long enough for it, and he's going to keep trying. I do think they will eventually split up, particularly if he doesn't get to America.
We were both right.
I think pretty right, yeah. But the season was too short for them to get divorced, but
we found out in the tell-all that they were
technically together.
Technically married, but not on good terms at all.
Well, he broke up with her again.
Yeah.
But that
he broke up with her on the tell-all, right?
Yeah, but he always breaks up with her.
True.
So they are still technically together. It doesn't look good. I don't know if anybody knows from their social medias or whatnot.
Yeah, if you have an update on Danielle and Johan, let us know.
Yeah, but as far as I know, they're still technically together. And last but not least, of course, is Rishi. Definitely never least. And Jen.
They're not making it.
So Myra commented that tea in India is the greatest. Well, how did you have tea in India?
Right. Did you go to India?
Did you happen to attend the wedding?
Right.
So I think they get married. All right. Well, you were right, for sure. I did get thrown off it if you didn't watch that episode. Myra, who was friends with Jen, who came out with Randy. Myra came out. Myra comments quite a bit on our TikToks, or at least has. And she indicated that she liked tea in India. And at the time, I was like, well, how would you know that?
Right.
So clearly she had gone out to India, which later we found out she did later go out to India. But I speculated that it was for a wedding. And yeah. So overall, I think you probably win that round.
You think?
You can celebrate.
You think or you know?
You won. So next up, we're going to talk about some of the comments that you made. You ready for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's bring them up. Who do we got first? Okay, who's that from?
Evie Sunshine.
Evie Sunshine. That's so sad. He seems like a genuinely nice man, taking care of his mom. So this is in reference to
Tyray.
Tyray, right? And we have another one about Tyray from
Polish Lucy.
It's probably
Polish Lucy.
Probably Polish Lucy.
Polish Lucy.
And what does she have to say?
This one hurts to watch because he's such a sweet man. Women want bad boys, and then they complain that they don't find a nice guy. Well, here's one.
I think she's right. He's a nice guy, and we said the same thing. Although not everybody agrees. And by the way, what was that? Evie Sunshine and Polish Lucy. Thank you for your comments. We actually see your comments quite often, so
thanks,
we appreciate it. And to anybody else who likes what we do and wants to help us out, obviously there's lots of ways to do that, and you know what everybody says on every channel, of course, to like and subscribe, but of course commenting really drives our channel too. So Thank you, Evie Sunshine and Polish Lucy, not Polish Lucy. Although maybe it is. I've never heard her say it. But they are in support of Tyray.
Okay.
But here we got one kind of the opposite.
All right, read that one.
You're closer. I can't see very well.
Where's your glasses?
I need my glasses to be able to read that shit.
All right. Cyan Larmond said, due to the season sneak peeks, his Instagram comment, and the fact that he's still allowed to be on TV after TLC gave him options and other reasons, I do not feel as sympathetic as my peers in the comment section. However, I do find it very commendable that he is taking care of his mom when her 4 other children are not, according to his mother's confession.
Okay, so I think that's fair. Obviously, she's not just trashing the guy.
Right.
I did look at his Instagram. I don't know what she's referring to, so if anybody knows that, please chime in. I didn't see anything too negative on his Instagram, but I didn't go through it in huge depth. So, moving on. What do we got? We got one about Rishi and Jen. What do they got to say? Who's it from?
Brenda Hill. I don't care what country you're in. When a man has dated someone for 3 years and is in love with her, it shouldn't matter what parents say. Do what you want to do. He is an adult. Stand up for what you believe in when love in regardless of cultures and rituals. Those things are man-made.
What do you think about that?
I agree. Totally agree.
You basically said something. Can you imagine being a man of 32 and
and your parents being like, no, you have to date who we tell you to date.
No, I do think she's right. When you do break it down, cultures are man-made.
They are.
But they're still hard to break when you're talking about generation after generation after generation teaching you
exactly.
to do this.
And who are we to be like, hey, don't listen to your mama, like that's our opinion.
Right, exactly. So we also have people chime in about the whole Julian situation where Debbie is trying to hook Julian up with Jen, which was a shocker for the tell-all. What do we got?
Okay, Wilma said, I might be the only one who wants to see this happen. Now, will it last? I doubt it. But it would be nice to see Mama Debbie's matchmaking skills put to the test. I love Debbie.
Now maybe, and we're going to have videos out for Match Me Abroad soon. I swear I said that last week, but we will. Maybe Debbie can be the next matchmaker on Match Me Abroad. We get a little crossover action.
Listen, I cannot wait to see Debbie on Single Life. I've never watched Single Life,
right.
But I will watch Single Life if Debbie is on the Single Life.
Yeah, and then other people disagree. Who wrote this one?
The Hare and the Fox said, sad shiz. Julian looks like Chaz Bono or vice versa. His mom is embarrassing.
Not everybody's on.
Okay, I mean, that could
board.
be true too. Like, I love Debbie, but yeah, she is a bit embarrassing. Okay.
And then our next comment has to do with the Riley and Violet storyline. What do we got?
All right. What's up, Riley?
So this came from Riley himself.
What's up, Riley? Okay. Riley said, I literally just died. The stabbing, kissing element, LMAO. I might have crossed paths in Jim Thorpe. You want to explain what that comment means?
Well, I had to put it, of course, because he's on the show that we're covering. So he talked about how she says mean things to him, but he knows that means she loves him. And
right.
They give each other the finger. So I made a comment of how they stab each other, but it really means they're kissing. And Jim Thorpe is a city in Pennsylvania where we have been to, and I swear I've seen Riley before. So that's where I was guessing I would meet him. But anyway, it's exciting that Riley's commenting on our...
Thanks, Riley.
Yeah, we've had a few of cast members comment over this time, and it's always nice to hear from them. Last, we got an ultimatum.
Okay, what does that say? London Lemons. I would love to see you guys react to the new season of The Ultimatum.
Oh.
Guess what?
Well, the season's over.
But we watched it.
We did watch it, and I guess it's not exactly a reaction, but it's something we can talk about, right?
Yeah, are we talking about it now?
Let's talk about it now. Let's pull it up.
All right. So there's our cast. So the top person is matched with the bottom person. So these are the people who they came in.
Well, explain how the show works. So this is the second season of The Ultimatum.
Right.
But this cast is an all queer cast.
Yes.
And like you said, the top row came in matched with the bottom row. They're all girlfriends.
Right. And the top row are the person in the relationship who gave the ultimatum to the person on the bottom. So pretty much if you've never watched The Ultimatum before, it's pretty much like if Brant and I were in a relationship dating and... whatever your name is. The two of us were in a relationship and we were dating, and I, wanted to get married, but he wasn't ready. He could take me on the ultimatum and be like, all right, well, we're going to go on the show and you get to date some other people to see if you then would be ready for marriage. It sounds kind of dumb.
I gotta be honest, I wish this show existed before, because she was dragging her feet, so I might have taken you on there. Eventually I locked it down, but you didn't get married for a while.
And how do you think that would have went?
Well, yeah. At least I would have had a trial wife, I guess.
Right, so you get to be in a trial relationship with someone else from the cast. And then afterwards, you go back to the person you came into the relationship with, and you decide whether or not you want to leave the show engaged.
Exactly, yeah. So how did it all... I didn't realize the music was playing that whole time, so I apologize that we had the music playing the entire time. It said it was off, but I see that it was on.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was probably annoying.
That probably was annoying.
Okay.
So anyway, they give the ultimatum and then they match up with somebody else and they have a little trial marriage, which for 3 weeks. So that's
a long time.
That's awkward. And then they regain, what's the word? They come back.
They reconnect.
Reconnect. They come back. They reconnect with their original partner. Until the final day where they either propose or they don't propose. And I believe we had 4 proposals?
Yeah, well, it's propose or break up.
Propose or break up.
But yeah.
So start from left to right.
Okay. I have to remember their names. Okay, so the lady on top, all the way to the left, that's Mildred, and underneath her is Tiff. Mildred gave Tiff the ultimatum. They just seem toxic. They argued so much, but then they would get back together to be super passionate, but then they would fight again. Is mainly communication issues, it seemed like. And Mildred really wanted to get married. Tiff didn't want to feel pushed. They ended up engaged at the end, but we found out at the reunion that they had broke up, and it was a bad breakup, domestic violence situation. Someone got arrested. A lot of drama for us to talk about right here, right now. But all right, next we have Xander.
So yeah, Tiff proposed then. Yeah.
Yeah, Tiff proposed and they broke up.
Yeah, right.
They broke up, which we found out on the reunion.
Right.
All right, cool. So Xander, and under Xander is, what's her name? Vanessa. Xander gave Vanessa the ultimatum because Xander wants to move on, start a family, get married, and Vanessa just want to play. Vanessa was so excited to be on the show because she wanted to date.
She wanted to be famous.
That's what other people speculated.
That's what they think, right?
Yeah, they speculated that she wanted to be famous, but yeah, she wanted to date. She was very flirty, over the top, borderline disrespectful. Some may say, but Xander did not end up proposing to Vanessa. He felt like she was not the person he was meant to be with, because he, during the trial marriage, he had a trial wife with the person who's next to him in the black. Her name is Yoli, and they fell in love with each other. Yoli came onto the show with Mel, who's the lady under with the hat, and Yoli gave Mel an ultimatum because Yoli also wanted to get married and have kids, and Mel wanted that too, so I'm not really sure why these two ended up on the show. It seemed like they had a really good relationship. Mel was seemed like a really nice person and seemed like
she wasn't ready for marriage, though. That's the thing.
Guess.
She wouldn't get married, and it was time.
Right. So
So Xander and Zoli really got into their trial marriage.
no, yeah, like
They
hot
were
and
treating
heavy.
like real, and clearly Xander wanted Zoli. Yoli, excuse me. He turned down, or she turned down Vanessa to be with Yoli.
Yes.
And Yoli was really conflicted, but ultimately,
Yeah, ultimately Yoli was proposed to by Mal at the end of the season, the last episode, and she said yes, but it was like the most reluctant yes I've ever seen. Like it was not what you would want in a proposal. Mal did a great job proposing, but Yoli was very conflicted because she was in love with Xander.
so Yoli was shaking and in tears when accepting a proposal from Mal, looking devastated.
Right.
Yet looking happy turning down Xander. So, because she was clearly happier to be with Xander. Now, these two did reconnect later.
They did.
But and I guess it didn't work out. They were very kind of secretive about that reunion.
Right. Well, let's back up a little bit though. So Yoli and Mal ended up getting engaged, but we found out on the reunion that they broke up.
Right.
They broke up
Bitterly.
very bitterly. Yoli and Xander tried to reconnect, but that also ended up not working out. It honestly seemed like Yoli was a person who just loved like being in love. Didn't matter really who the person was. I think she probably got a pretty bad rap because it was like she was just in love and in these really intense relationships with two people. So yeah, that was that. They're broken up, and that's that.
Lexi and Ray, they were next
Lexi and
up.
Ray. I was kind of about them. Like, I mean, so Lexi brought Ray on the show. Same thing. Like, she wanted to get married and move forward with life. Lexi, I think, was only 24 at the time we're watching the show. But
Now Ray's, I think, 28 or something like that.
yeah,
so
they're fairly young.
They're both young.
Right. So during the trial marriage, Ray was matched with, who was she matched with? Vanessa, right. And they had like a sexual situation.
I wish I could point. Oh, wait, I guess I can.
Yeah, there you go. Use your pointer.
Yeah.
All right, so
Ray Bottom was matched up with Vanessa Bottom. And I'm
Right.
sorry if you're listening to our
both
podcast.
red dresses.
I'm pointing to the
Like
actual people
diagonal.
on the screen. Okay, yep.
Yeah. So, they had like while they were in their trial marriage, they had like a sexual situation, and Ray ended up telling her real life partner, which was Lexi, that sexual situation happened, and like she freaked out, like totally freaked out, and made Ray feel really bad about it. I think Ray already felt really bad about it. But yeah. And
But in the end,
they got engaged. And on the reunion, they were also engaged and planning their wedding.
reunion, it seems super happy, and then the title comes up at the end saying that they decided to go their own ways.
Yeah, so they broke up. I tried to like read some, a story about what happened, and I guess they just couldn't get past that sexual situation that happened between Ray and Vanessa during their trial marriage. As far as I'm concerned, and I feel like Lexi's dad said this also, like, you brought her on the show, she was in a trial marriage, like, she made a mistake, and you just don't want to get over it. Like, get over it, sis.
Yeah. And then since then, Ray's been all over my TikTok feed, so I don't know why that is. She
Really? What does she do on TikTok?
mostly just talk about her appearance on the show, I think, or make references to it. But I saw one with her and Xander. So,
Okay.
yeah. It's funny how the internet, the phones always hear you, right? So they heard us talking about it. Now she's all over. And our last couple, that's Sam and Aussie. And I don't know Aussie's real name because she's actually an Aussie, but they all called her Aussie.
Yeah, I think that's the name that she identified as.
Gotcha. So Sam was with Tiff in the trial marriage, and Aussie was with what was the Mildred, but that didn't work out.
No.
Actually, both were very platonic or just disastrous, and they got back together in their last 3 weeks. But the biggest issue was Sam wanted to be heard, and Aussie didn't want to hear.
No.
And it didn't seem like they should get married, but again, Aussie was afraid to lose Sam, so she proposed to Sam, and who accepted. And we know the other 4 couples have all broken up. Sam and Aussie were the only ones still together at the tell-all. They weren't officially married yet, but it looked like they were about to be. So it looked like that one was going to work out.
Yeah, it seems like they're the last couple standing.
So the conclusion of the ultimatum, 5 couples who had been dating for a long time made the ultimatum hoping to get married. In the end, boom, 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 boom,
They're all
maybe
broke up
one.
except of one, yeah, who's a maybe at this point.
Maybe one is together. So, so does that mean, is the show a success, or?
I feel like the show in general, the premise is kind of like a clusterfuck. Like you're really playing with fire in this situation. Like if you giving an ultimatum is never good anyway. Like you don't want to force someone's hand into getting married, but then not only to do that, but then put them in a situation where they're gonna be in a relationship with someone else.
Right.
Like why even do that? You know.
Yeah, I would say so I will continue to watch the show when I assume they're going to have a 3rd season. It sure sounds like it. I will watch it, but my overall feeling of it is I just get this negative, icky feeling when watching it. It's like, especially when the couples are matching up with another couple in the trial situation. There's something about that it feels too complicated.
It really complicates things.
And I really want to see the journey of a couple, whether they make it or not. Obviously, I like the happy ending more than any others. I like to see happy couples, but with the bumps in the road. But this doesn't do that because they're switching up couples. So
yeah, I mean, I think that the positives about the show is I feel like a lot of the people who are on the show end up having like these aha moments and these real like senses of self-discovery because they learn a lot about themselves through the process. Right. But a lot of times it ultimately means that they feel like they have outgrown or the relationships that they're in don't work or for whatever reason. Right.
So now of the Netflix shows we've seen lots of them. The Love is Blind, Perfect Match, Too Hot to Handle, The Ultimatum. I know we've seen others as well. Of those, the one that I actually enjoy the most and the one that I look forward to the most by far, I think, is Love is Blind. That's the one that has a chance to like give you the feel good at the end, even though in the end usually only 1 or 2 couples make it and sometimes don't even stay made. Yeah, that made sense. All right, that's the end. You got anything else to add to the ultimatum?
No. That's it about the ultimatum.
Okay, so we covered Before the 90 Days, The Other Way, The Comments, Ultimatum. I think that pretty much is the end. Tune in every week. We're going to be here after show for Before the 90 Days, and we'll have more of this to add. But until then, I think that's it. What do you think?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, I wish you all a good day, and what's love for you? Let us know.